Hello. So it is 8 days into my experiment. I'll link to the video below where I talked about my experiment, but I'm also going to re-explain it again now quickly, just in case nobody knows what I'm talking about. I think this channel is about to go off into wackadoo territory, so definitely stay tuned for whatever the hell is coming next. I don't know what it's going to be, but this has been a very, very interesting 8 days. It's been... Yeah, so the experiment essentially was to prioritize above all else, commit essentially to staying in the highest possible mental state that I could stay in all the time. And when I say prioritize, I mean if I come down from that or if something happens, basically that the priority, no matter what was going on, the priority would be to get back in that state and to not make any decisions, take any actions, spend a significant amount of time in that lower state, whatever it was, which is where, most people don't exist in this high state all the time. Most of us are somewhere down here most of the time. And rather than allowing it to naturally dissipate or whatever, however it normally works, my commitment was I will stop and I will meditate. Just in whatever, and you could do that in any way you want. But for me, the easiest way to do it is just the Hicks way, which is just listen to the fan, essentially. Just lay down, breathe, and I set the timer on my phone for 15 minutes and listen to the fan in my office. And that just sort of quiets everything down. Let the thoughts die down, which they do. But essentially, putting intention to staying in that state rather than just allowing life to happen the way it happens. I wanted to see what would happen if I did this for 30 days. I'm 8 days into this. I'd give myself about a B for how well I've been doing with prioritizing that. How quickly did I catch it, stop, and say, no, I'm going to do this other thing, and, I'm going to go meditate. How many times have I done that? I'd say I've meditated to bring my mood up 10 times in the last 8 days. So I've been mostly staying in that state easily, I guess. Or I've been able to catch it, remind myself what I was doing, and just kind of, come back up without meditating. But there's been negative momentum in the last 8 days, I would say 10 times where I said I need to stop this train and turn it around. So it's about a B. I probably should have done it about twice as much as that. But overall, some interesting things have come out of this. And I'm just going to tell you what they are. This is like the very birth of a bunch of things, but it's pretty crazy. So the first major plummet that happened was on Monday, July 3rd, when I had to go into my office and start doing the things that I have to do on a deadline every day. And I just realized, essentially, I'll spare you the gory details, but I got super, irrationally angry as I was having to do this because I'd been in this high-flying state with, feeling inspired and all this, and I just realized that this thing was dragging me down, having to do this task. So I stopped and I meditated, brought myself back up, and immediately when I started putting my attention back on work, it plummeted again. And then I also, I believe at this point that I have a meniscus tear or something, and I re-injured my knee in the middle of doing this. I've injured my knee multiple times doing this job over the last year. I've also been becoming more and more dissatisfied with doing this job over the last year, and we can get into mind creates physical ailments to try to tell you something in another video, but I'm pretty sure that pretty sure this injury that has been recurring is related to me telling myself that I shouldn't be doing this job anymore. And I've been hanging on to doing this job. I've done this job for 13 years, the whole time that I've had the business. It's never been done by anybody but me for any significant amount of time, for more than a day here and there. And I've just been really afraid to relinquish control over this one job because it was really important. And I just realized I'm making this decision based out of fear. and it's time to let it go. And so I did. I had the courage to do that finally. I had the thought process that allowed me to release control over this thing finally, and I'm essentially now retired. So that's kind of a big deal. I wasn't planning on that. It just kind of happened. So now I am in a new phase where I really don't, I have responsibilities at my business still, but it's just owner stuff. There's no actual real time-consuming day-to-day stuff that I have to do. And I'm still getting used to that, and it's very weird. So anyway, that's the first major thing that happened. Second major thing that happened was one of the commenters here, actually, thank you very much, recommended a book to me. And I don't want to recommend it yet because I don't know that this book is super great or anything. I don't know. It was just the exact thing that I needed to not rewind, but basically it took me back to where I started this channel. When I started this channel, I had just had a spiritual awakening of what I'm realizing more and more as time goes on was kind of a huge magnitude. It was major. It was, I had a moment where I had an instant understanding and download that, I don't like this phrasing, the I am God phrasing, because when you say that, it's like you're the greatness of God. It's like you're the God of religion. It's like you're the old man floating on the cloud. So that's not the right way to put it. I just realized that I was creating everything. From some level, I just realized in the most comforting possible way that this was all being created by me. Not me, the person talking in this video, but me, the greater me, whatever that is. Whatever. I'm so tired of limiting all of this shit with language. There's no way to describe this stuff. But I realized it was all being created by me. This phone in my hand, the people watching this video, everything happening in my life. I realized in an instant, in a huge instant, a huge moment of my life, that I knew without a shadow of a doubt that this was all being created by me, and thus it was all good. I knew that in a way that provided it was like, language is so hard. It was like permanently filling my gas tank 50%. I could never go below that again. Like, I could never fall below a certain mental point again in my life, because I had the absolute experience and understanding of knowing that this was coming from me for a good purpose. I don't know. What I experienced is not able to be articulated. So anyway, this book brought me back to that. It reminded me of that. And I don't want to recommend the book because I'm not sure that it was the book that did it. It was just, I don't know. I was in the right frame of mind to remember that. And I had a very similar moment to the one that I had in 2019. It just wasn't new. It wasn't a new thought. It was just a remembering of the understanding that I had back then. And I had gotten, at this point, as you can see from the arc of this channel, I had gotten pretty far back into the world. Or the hologram, if you will. The illusion. I was in the illusion, kind of operating from outside of the illusion some of the time. That's where I was a week and a half ago. Esther started bringing me back, and then this book and this experiment, this state of mind, I think was what really got me back there. And I also, for whatever reason, I don't know, I'm not sure exactly what happened here. I decided also that I wanted to start microdosing mushrooms. I haven't done enough of that yet to really talk about it, but that's another thing that came out of this. That also started in the last 8 days. So, I don't know, maybe I'll have something to say about that. I don't really have anything to say about it yet, other than that it's been a good experience so far. But, yeah, what's come out of this so far is remembering that none of this is real. None of this is real in the sense that it seems to be real, though it's experienced as totally real by design. It's not. And, you know, I think I wish I could remember how I, like came down from this before, essentially. The realization that things weren't real, because I lived in that state for quite some time in a very pleasant way. It's not what it means. I mean, it's not what it seems. It's not real. That's not even the right way to put it, because it is. I mean, it is real, and the people are real, and everything is real, but it's not. It's only being experienced that way. And where you spend your time is what makes the difference in your experience. Where you spend your time mentally is what makes the difference in this experience. If you can constantly be aware that you're living within the illusion, essentially be in the world but not of it, as they say, it's a different experience. And yeah, I think that's all I'm going to say about that for now, because the last few days have definitely been very weird, and in a good way. And I'm kind of back to where I was at the beginning of this channel, and I'm not really sure. I feel like I have a much more heightened sense of this not being real. And essentially that, like, say I continue to make this channel, it's weird for me because I'm not sure anymore if that's the game I want to play, essentially. Is this, if I'm creating whatever I want, I'm creating all of you, and I'm creating all of this and everything else, it changes things. If basically whatever I want is what will happen, then does that take it kind of takes some of the fuel out of certain things. It makes everything so much less important. Anyway, yeah, expect more of that, because I'm not going back from this time. I really like looking around. I can see how I've created almost everything that's happened. I should say almost everything that's happened, I can see how I created it. Or I can see that I created it. I can't see how exactly. But I can see that I did. And so I'm just not sure where this leaves me, because you can know something, and then you know something, and then you realize something else, and everything changes. It's like peeling back the layers of an onion, and I don't know where this leaves me. So anyway, that's my update. I knew something was going to happen if I did this, so here we are. Have a great day.